What are the most common mistakes you observe when male authors create women characters? Writing dialogue for a person you hardly identify with is hard enough. But attempting to create a character from the ground floor up, especially another gender, is very difficult. It would appear male authors and writers repeat the same mistakes and misconceptions about what runs through a woman's mind. Enough for me to regularly observe women laughing at bad dialogue and immediately recognizing, whoever wrote this is not a woman. What are the greatest hits of men failing to write good woman characters? The better question is, how does a man begin to understand what it means to be a woman? Well enough to write a character that she would find compelling and authentic? Writing about our boobs from an aesthetic perspective. The only time I think about mine are when it's too hot out or my shoulders are aching from my bra straps. If she's the protagonist, she's always different from other girls. Use Sally at the cost of making every other woman suck. If she's supporting character, her story is completely focused on the men in her life. If she's the antagonist, she's either a seductress or an old witch. They never fail to emphasize the importance of beauty no matter what. In spite of the silver hair framing her face, and the deep creases around her eyes, I couldn't help but be bewitched by her beauty. Or some corny shit like that. These characters could literally be fighting for their lives during the Dust Bowl, and male authors often just can't resist emphasizing how gorgeous she is, because obviously she has to be in order to make the book interesting. First thing that comes to mind is a scene in the menu. A character was supposed to shed a few delicate tears upon learning that her date has knowingly and purposefully led her to her death. The actress changed the script and instead, she lunges and starts attacking the guy. Really great scene. I suggest looking up a clip if you haven't seen the film. Let female characters be angry, fight for themselves, and they don't need to be pretty when they do it. Remember when everyone lost their mind over Queen's Gambit? Don't get me wrong, I liked it too, but that scene where she's in the house alone at supposed rock bottom, bopping around the house in cute underwear, drinking booze, with makeup and her hair flowing, I was like, who the fuck wrote this? This isn't rock bottom. It's a Friday night. It was so unrealistic. Everything the female lead does, they do it sexily and braless, using stupidity and emotional reactivity as plot devices. Audience needs a scientific concept explained? Suddenly the PhD astronaut with 3 businesses and 80 papers published in Nature has forgotten all of her training, education, and experience. Cue her asking a dumb question that the male protagonist will ultimately answer. Plot needs to move forward? Now our previously rational and calm female character suddenly has emotional instability issues that mirror a seriously untreated personality disorder. Lazy, cheap, poor writing. Male authors have a lot of trouble writing trauma for women that doesn't involve Saw. Like, there could be a lot of bad things happen to male character, but it's never Saw. And for women it seems at least 40 of trauma is Saw. It's like they're sitting down, thinking what's unique about a woman's experience. Women do the sex stuff, I can make her trauma be about sex stuff. It's really exhausting. AI sounds about right. My gripe is to be a strong female character, she has to be hostile. That our lives revolve around a relationship, wanting a relationship. Some of us just don't care. Not every female character needs romance. Some of us want deep friendships. The better question is, how does a man begin to understand what it means to be a woman? Well enough to write a character that she would find compelling and authentic? Honestly, talk to us. Most of the problems with men writing women is that they're thinking as men do. If you spent even a few minutes understanding what women are saying to you, Your writing will improve. Women who badmouth other women just like a man would stop talking about your period and acting like it's so hard. Toughen up. Men don't want to hear about that. Paraphrase from one of my favorite fantasy authors. Thinking that all women want giant boobs. As if shoulder and back pain don't happen. My pet peeve is when a woman's death is used as a power to move the plot forward. It's such a popular trope that we barely register that. Giving women attributes of a cat. Or comparing women to cats. Apparently we are all felines. I don't believe men are compared to dogs by any writers. Lol. Writing characters that aren't like other girls. Such an overused trope. Are men writing women? I have started reading female authors over male. I don't think men seem to understand our internal monologues and it shows. I got tired of it. Currently reading American Gods and every woman is initially described by her body features while men are not. It's disappointing. A glaring lack of awareness of how a woman would respond to a given situation. Robert Heinlein, author of many science fiction books, including Stranger in a Strange Land. All of his women characters were one-dimensional. I think they always have to let you know, one way or the other. Not always in a straightforwardly manner. If they would or would not FCK her. They just seem to never get their period. Said male authors clearly have no idea what a woman actually wants. And often tries to make her boy hungry. Not passing a Bechdel test. If she is lead female character, she must start dating lead male character by the end of the book. Film series, regardless of how much sense it makes plot-wise. You know it's a man when you get mention of a character's boobs. This is more petty, but some show and movies' obsession with women wearing push-up bras. Why does her cleavage have to be up to her neck in every scene? It looks painful. Women aren't wearing them all the time. Right? And if you call it out, they just say, well, women should be able to express themselves anyway they want. But how the female actresses feel about that? I know Elizabeth Olsen spoke up once how she was uncomfortable in the MCU movie with constantly having her boobs out. The most common one I come across is a complete lack of personality. He's a man with a fully fleshed out personality, with flaws, and she's a beautiful perfect brick wall, only playing whatever role assigned to her as if she's an irrelevant side character and not part of the main cast. Forget she's a woman. Write the dialogue. Then insert correct pronouns. Voila. She was human all along. Women in the kitchen, making a mess, fretting that whatever they are cooking will be a disaster. If we can't cook, we order out, and we don't give a damn if the guy knows it. That they aren't written as full and complex people. I skimmed an article recently about a specific show where a particular female character seems to exist solely to save the emotionally damaged male protagonist. A commenter added that the female character in question is a medical resident. She wouldn't have time to emotionally babysit anyone. Realistically, she'd probably be barely holding it together herself. The woman character worrying about how she looks or spending time in the mirror. I'm sure plenty of women do. But most days I see myself in the mirror when I'm brushing my teeth, and that's about it. Even if a woman does concern herself with her appearance more than I, it's not a relevant plot point in most stories and says very little about the character anyway. Always tells me it was written by a man. I am thinking of one particular work I read as a teenager in a young adult series. The author switched from having the same male protagonist for something like 9 books to having his teenage girl apprentice be the protagonist. The problem was he didn't think her character though past gender profession. She wound up as an extremely bland character.